Hello students, today I bring for you a new chapter and that is human reproduction. In this chapter, we are going to cover important topics like the male reproductive system, the female reproductive system, gametogenesis, menstrual cycle, fertilization and implantation, pregnancy and embryonic development, parturition and lactation. We will cover NCERT as well as this PDF. So, let's start this chapter. First of all, reproduction is the production of young ones by an organism. Any living organism who can produce a younger one that looks like exactly the same, that is called reproduction. Humans are sexually reproducing and viviparous. We all are sexually reproducing and viviparous. Coming to human reproductive system, there are two types of reproductive system, male and female. First of all, let's start male reproductive system. Here you can see we have paired testis, accessory duct, accessory glands and external genitalia, that is called penis. First of all, we all have, you can see in the diagram, here you can see pair of testis located in this region, and coming to accessory duct, there are retitestis, vasa efferentia, epididymis and vas deferens. Coming to accessory glands, there are prostate gland, seminal vesicle and corpus or bulbourethral gland, and finally external genitalia, that is penis. First of all, paired testis. Primary sex organs that produce sperms and testosterone hormone. Testes are formed within the abdomen. Soon after the birth or at the 8th month of the pregnancy, they descend into the scrotal sac or scrotum through inguinal canal. It is extra data, it is not mentioned in your NCERT. So first of all, before birth, the testes are present inside the body, that is within the abdomen. Soon after birth or at the 8th month of the pregnancy, they comes out from the abdomen and they placed outside of the abdomen in the scrotal sac or scrotum. Here you can see a pouch-like structure, scrotum is present through inguinal canal. This term is some extra data, and here is the diagram. You can see superficial inguinal ring. Next, the low temperature, that is 2 to 2.5 degrees Celsius, less than the body temperature of the scrotum, helps for proper functioning of testis and for spermatogenesis. Spermatogenesis means formation of sperm or male gamete. Next, some more points about testis. Each testis is oval in shape. Structurally, they are oval in shape. Coming to length, they are 4 to 5 cm in length and width is 2 to 3 cm. Each testis has about 250 testicular lobules. There are 250 testicular lobules. Each lobule contains 1 to 3 coiled seminiferous tubules. Each lobule contains 1 to 3 coiled seminiferous tubules. Seminiferous tubule is lined internally with spermatogenic cells, that is spermatogonia or male germ cell, and Sertoli cell, that is supporting cell. Here you can see this diagram. Spermatogonium and Sertoli cells are here. Primary spermatocyte, then secondary, then spermatid, and finally spermatozoa or male gamete is formed. Sertoli cells give shape and nourishment developing spermatogonia. So what is the function of Sertoli cells? Now they give shape and nourishment to the developing spermatogonia. Next, the region outside the seminiferous tubule or interstitial spaces contain some blood vessel, interstitial cells or Leydig cell, immunologically competent cells. Leydig cells secrete testicular hormones, that is androgen. Mostly, here you can see it is the structure also given in your NCERT, where the region outside the seminiferous tubule, what it contains? It contains small blood vessels, interstitial cells or Leydig cells, and your immunologically competent cells. Next, coming to accessory duct, there are four different type of duct are present, that are retetestis, irregular cavities, vasa efferentia, series of fine tubules, epididymis which stores sperm temporarily, and finally vas deferens. In the diagram you can find out vasa efferentia located this portion, vasa efferentia, as you can see. Vas deferens, this is the vas deferens, this tube, as you can see, it is the vas deferens. Retetestis, these are irregular cavities like this, irregular cavities are retetestis. And your epididymis, here epididymis, which store the sperm temporarily, epididymis. Here point is given, vas deferens joins with a duct of seminal vesicle to form common ejaculatory duct. Next, conduction of sperm through accessory duct. So how the sperm travels? First of all, it is made by seminiferous tubule, then goes to retetestis, then vasa efferentia, then epididymis, vas deferens, common ejaculatory duct, urethra and urethral meatus. See the diagram. Here you can see there are many seminiferous tubules are there. From the seminiferous tubule it goes to retetestis. See the diagram, retetestis, and then it comes to vasa efferentia, then epididymis which temporarily store the sperm, then vas deferens, this portion vas deferens, and then it comes to common ejaculatory duct. It is labeled here, as you can see, common ejaculatory duct, this portion, then urethra here and urethral meatus. The top portion of the penis is called urethral meatus. Remember, some more points also given. The urethra receives the duct of prostate and corpus gland and passes through the penis. So here point is given, the urethra receives the duct of prostate gland. Here the prostate gland is given, as you can see, and your corpus gland or bulbourethral gland, and passes through the penis. Coming to accessory glands, they include a pair of seminal vesicles, also labeled pair of seminal vesicle, one pair, and the second pair of prostate gland, a single pair, and another one, a pair of corpus gland, this one, corpus gland or bulbourethral gland. Their collectively secretion is called seminal plasma. Their collectively secretion is called seminal plasma. It is a fluid which rich in fructose, calcium and enzymes. Seminal plasma and the sperm both called semen. Okay. Coming to functions of seminal plasma, it helps the transport of sperm, first point, supply nutrients to the sperm, second point, third, it provides alkalinity to counteract acidity of the uterus, and fourth one is the secretion of corpus gland, lubricate the penis. Remember. Now some more points. Secretion of epididymis, vas deferens, seminal vesicle, prostate gland helps the maturation and motility of the sperm. Remember. Coming to fourth, penis or external genitalia. Before starting it, let's see what your NCERT says here. As you all are aware, humans are sexually reproducing and viviparous, and the reproductive events in human includes gametes, formation of gametes or gametogenesis, that is sperm in male and ovum in female. Transfer of sperm into the female genital tract, that is called insemination. Remember the term, it is asked. Transfer of sperm into the female genital tract is called insemination. Next, fusion of male and female gamete is called fertilisation, which leading to formation of zygote. This is followed by formation of and development of blastocyst and its attachment to the uterine wall, that is called implantation. Embryonic development, gestation, delivery of the baby, that is called parturition. Remember the term, it is asked. Okay. Next, coming to male reproductive system, it includes a pair of testes along with accessory duct, glands and the external genitalia. You are also given it is located in the pelvic region. Here again it is shown the testis is situated outside the abdominal cavity within a pouch called scrotum. It helps to maintain the low temperature of the testis, that is 2 to 2.5 degree Celsius lower than the normal body temperature, which is necessary for formation of sperm or male gamete, that is called spermatogenesis. In adult, testis is oval in shape, 4 to 5 cm length and width is about 2 to 3 cm. It is covered by a dense covering and each testis has about 250 compartments. 250 compartments. These are called testicular lobules. Each lobule contains 1 to 3 highly coiled seminiferous tubules. Here you can see in your NCERT you can easily identify testicular lobules, and these are about 250 components in each ovary, in each testis. And inside the testicular lobule there are 1 to 3 highly coiled seminiferous tubules are there. Seminiferous tubules are present in which the sperm is produced. Each seminiferous tubule is lined on its inside by two types of cell called male germ cell or spermatogonia and Sertoli cells. The male germ cell undergo meiotic division, finally leading to sperm formation, while the Sertoli cell provide nutrition to the germ cell. And the region outside of the seminiferous tubule are called interstitial spaces, containing small blood vessels and interstitial cell or Leydig cell. And the function of Leydig cell is to synthesize and secrete testicular hormone, that is called androgen or testosterone hormone. Next, the male sex accessory duct includes rete testis, vasa efferentia, epididymis, vas deferens, and their functions are, here you can see the seminiferous tubule of the testis opens into vasa efferentia through rete testis, then it goes to epididymis, then vas deferens that ascends to the abdomen and loop over the urinary bladder, and it receives a duct from the seminal vesicle and opens into urethra as the ejaculatory duct. This duct store and transport the sperm from testis to the outside through the urethra. The urethra originates from the urinary bladder and extends through the penis to its external opening called urethral meatus. Here it is the triangular shape. Here you can see in this diagram. Here you can see this is a triangular portion and it is called glans penis, and this portion, this solent portion, this solent part is called urethral meatus. Remember, it is called urethral meatus. Next, here is the diagram. You can see there are many interstitial cells, spermatogonia, spermatozoa and Sertoli cells are also here. The penis is the male external genitalia. It is made up of special tissue that helps in erection of the penis to facilitate insemination. So, it is the male external genitalia made up of special type of tissue which helps in the erection of the penis to facilitate insemination. That is, sperm comes outside of the body. The enlarged end of the penis is called glans penis, which is covered by a loose fold skin that is called foreskin. And coming to male accessory glands includes paired seminal vesicles, prostate gland and bulbourethral gland. Secretion of this gland constitutes the seminal plasma, which is rich in fructose, calcium and certain enzymes. The secretion of bulbourethral gland also helps in the lubrication of the penis. Now, let's see the PDF, what it says about penis. Here you can see, it is a copulatory organ. It is made up of special erectile spongy tissue. And coming to the names, here you can see corpus cavernosum and corpus spongiosum. It is the extra data. When spongy tissue is filled with blood, the penis erect, it facilitates insemination. The cone-shaped tip of the penis is called glans penis. As I told you, cone-shaped tip is called glans penis and it is covered by prepuce or foreskin. Prepuce, a thin skin is covered to the glans penis or the head of the penis, that is called, the skin is called prepuce or foreskin. Next is female reproductive system. Coming to female reproductive system, there are a paired ovaries are there, accessory duct are there and external genitalia. Coming to accessory duct, they are oviduct or fallopian tube number 2, accessory duct, uterus and vagina. Coming to external genitalia, there are mons pubis, vestibule, hymen and clitoris. Let's see the female reproductive system. First of all, paired ovary. The primary sex organ which produce ova, that is female gamete, and steroid ovarian hormones, that are estrogen and progesterone, that is ovary. As you can see in this diagram, here ovary is labeled. Pair it is given, so 1 and 2 we can label it. Each ovary is about 2 to 4 cm in length. They are located on the both sides of the lower abdomen. As you can see in this diagram. And connected to pelvic wall and uterus by ligaments. Here the ligaments are there, as you can see. Next, each ovary is covered by a thin epithelium which encloses the ovarian stroma. Each ovary is covered by a thin epithelium which encloses the ovarian stroma. Thin epithelium, this one, a covering is there. Okay. The stroma has outer cortex and inner medulla. Stroma means inside the ovary, the part inside the ovary. This portion is stroma portion. Okay. It is an outer cortex, as I labeled, it is a cortex portion. And inside everything are medulla. Ovary contains group of cells, ovarian or Graafian follicle. Ovary contains a group of cells, as you can see it is labeled primary follicle, or you can say immature egg, growing follicle. Then coming to egg cell or follicular cells, as you can see mature follicle. And fourth one, ovulation, where the protective cell and eggs comes out, and the remaining part empty follicle. Then comes to corpus luteum and it regresses. Let's see. Next one, what it's given. Coming to accessory duct, there are 2 oviduct or fallopian tubes are there. 2 oviduct or fallopian tube. It is the fallopian tube, this region, and it is also in paired condition. Uterus or womb, it is a singular uterus or womb, as you can see, and vagina. This portion is vagina. Next one, first of all, oviduct or fallopian tube. Each oviduct is about 10 to 12 cm in length. Each fallopian tube is about 10 to 12 cm. It starts from here, from infundibulum, and closes from here. So, what is its length? It is about 10 to 12 cm. Okay. It has three parts: infundibulum, ampulla and isthmus. The top portion is infundibulum, middle region ampulla and last region is isthmus. Coming to infundibulum, what it says? It is funnel shaped opening with many finger like fimbriae. Infundibulum opens with fimbriae, finger like projections as you can see here. It is fimbriae. It helps to collect the ovum. It helps to collect the ovum. Second is ampulla with wider part, and third is isthmus. It is the narrow part. It joins the uterus. The ciliated epithelium lines the lumen of oviduct, drives the ovum towards the uterus. So inside this, here you can see small hair-like structures are present. That is ciliated epithelium made up of ciliated epithelium. And these hair-like structures, they drive the ovum from this way to the uterus. Next, coming to uterus, it is inverted pear shaped. It is supported by ligaments attached to the pelvic wall, supported by ligaments. Uterus has three parts: upper fundus, labellum, uterine fundus, middle body and terminal cervix. Middle body and terminal cervix. Cervix opens into vagina. Cervix, cervical canal and vagina, as you can see. The uterine wall has three layers. The uterine wall has three layers. Outer perimetrium, three layer it has. Outer perimetrium, as you can see. External thin membrane. The next myometrium, middle thick layer made up of smooth muscle, and the last one is the endometrium, inner glandular and vascular. Next one. Next is vagina. Here you can see it opens to exterior between urethra and anus. The lumen of vagina is lined by a glycogen-rich mucous membrane consisting of sensitive papillae and Bartholin glands. It is the extra point. Okay, extra point. The lumen of vagina. The lumen of vagina means this region. This region. It is lined by glycogen-rich mucous membrane consisting of sensitive papillae and Bartholin glands. The secretion of Bartholin glands lubricate the penis during sexual act. Next, here external genitalia, vulva or pendulum, pedentum, also called pudendum, consist of mons pubis, vestibule, hymen and clitoris. First of all, mons pubis. Mons pubis, it is a cushion of fatty tissue covered by pubic hair. Mons pubis labelled here, as you can see. Coming to vestibules, a median channel, it includes labia majora, labia minora. It is large, fleshy, fatty and hairy outer fold surrounds the vaginal opening. It is the labia majora labelled here, as you can see. Coming to labia minora, small, thin and hairless inner folds. It is labia minora labelled here. Coming to hymen. Hymen or maiden head also called. It is a membrane which partially cover the vaginal opening. It is a membrane which partially cover the vaginal opening. It is often torn during the first coitus. Coitus means first intercourse. Hymen may also be broken by sudden fall or jolt. Insertion of vaginal tampon. Tampon means it is made up of, as you can say, is made up of many cottons. Okay. Active participation in some spores, etc. So hymen can be broken by sudden fall, insertion of the vaginal tampon and active participation in some spores items, etc. In some women, hymen persists even after the coitus. So the hymen is not a reliable indicator of the virginity. Next is clitoris. Clitoris is the highly sensitive organ lying just in front of urethral opening. Clitoris. Next is mammary glands or breast. Here you can see a pair of mammary glands contain glandular tissue and fat. Glandular tissue and fats. Glandular tissue of each breast has 15 to 20 mammary lobes. 15 to 20 mammary lobes are there, containing cluster of cells or mammary alveoli. Mammary alveoli, as you can see, labeled here, mammary tubule, mammary duct. The cells of alveoli secrete milk. The cells of alveoli, like this structure, they secrete milk. It is stored in the cavity or lumen of the alveoli, and the milk is stored inside the alveoli. Next, the alveoli opens into mammary tubule. The alveoli opens into mammary tubule, and then here you can see mammary tubule also here, and then the tubule of each lobe joins to form mammary duct. Mammary duct, this portion. Several mammary duct joins to form a wider mammary ampulla, as you can see, which is connected to the lactiferous duct. Lactiferous duct through which milk is sucked out. Here is the sequence of milk conduction: mammary alveoli, mammary tubule, mammary duct, mammary ampulla, and lactiferous tubule. Next is gametogenesis. Before starting this, let's see what your NCERT says. Here, female reproductive system. Again, it is consist of a pair of ovaries along with a pair of oviduct, uterus, cervix, vagina, and external genitalia located in the pelvic region. This part system along with a pair of mammary glands are integrated structurally and functionally to support the process of ovulation, fertilization, pregnancy, birth, and childcare. Ovary are the primary female sex organs that produce female gametes as well as several steroid hormone or ovarian hormone. The ovary are located one on each side of the lower abdomen. Each ovary is about 2 to 4 cm in length, connected to pelvic wall and uterus by ligaments. Each ovary is covered by a thin epithelium which encloses the ovarian stroma. The stroma divided into two zones, peripheral cortex and inner medulla, which we already seen in the diagram in that PDF. Here, the oviduct or fallopian tube, uterus and vagina constitute the female accessory duct. Each fallopian tube is about 10 to 12 cm long and extends from the periphery of each ovary to the uterus. The part closer to the ovary is the funnel-shaped infundibulum. Here again the diagram is there. Finger-like projections, infundibulum. The axis of the infundibulum possesses finger-like projections called fimbriae, which helps in the collection of the ovum after ovulation. When the ovum comes out from the ovary, the fimbriae or finger-like projections, they collect it and passes through the upperwards, ampulla, isthmus, then uterus. The infundibulum leads to a wider part of the oviduct called ampulla. The last part of the oviduct is isthmus, which is narrow lumen and it joins to the uterus. The uterus is single and is also called womb. The shape of the uterus is like an inverted pear. It is supported by ligaments attached to the pelvic wall. The uterus opens into vagina through narrow cervix. The cavity of the cervix is called cervical canal, which along with vagina forms the birth canal. The wall of the uterus has three layers of the tissue: external thin perimetrium, middle thick smooth muscle myometrium, inner glandular layer endometrium that lined by uterine cavity. Here one more point is given. The endometrium undergoes cyclical changes during the menstrual cycle, while the myometrium exhibits a strong contraction during the delivery of the baby. Next, more some points about female external portions. The female external genitalia includes mons pubis, labia majora, labia minora, hymen and clitoris. Mons pubis is a cushion of fatty tissue covered by skin and pubic hair. Labia majora are fleshy folds of tissue which extends down from the mons pubis and surrounded the vaginal opening. Labia minora are pair of folds of the tissue under the labia majora. The opening of the vagina is often covered partially by a membrane called hymen. The clitoris is a tiny finger-like structure which lies to the upper junction of the two labia minora and of the urethral opening. Here, the hymen is often torn during the first coitus or intercourse. However, it can also be broken by sudden fall or jolt, an insertion of vaginal tampon, active participation in some sports like horseback riding, cycling, etc. In some women, the hymen also persists even after the coitus. So, the presence or absence of the hymen is not a reliable indicator of virginity or sexual experience. Next is mammary gland. Here you can see mammary gland is the characteristics of all female mammals. The mammary gland are paired structure or breast that contains glandular tissue and variable amount of fat. The glandular tissue of each breast is divided into 15 to 20 mammary lobes containing cluster of cells called alveoli. The cells of alveoli secrete milk which is stored in the cavities of the alveoli. Alveoli opens into mammary tubule. The tubule of the each lobe joins to the mammary duct. Several mammary ducts joins to form wider mammary ampulla, and then coming to lactiferous duct through which the milk is sucked out. And next topic, gametogenesis. Here, coming to gametogenesis in this PDF, as you can see, it is the formation of gametes in the gonads. And coming to types of gametogenesis, there are two types of gametogenesis or formation of gametes. That is, formation of sperm is called spermatogenesis and formation of ovum is called oogenesis. First of all, coming to spermatogenesis. It is the process of formation of sperm or spermatozoa in seminiferous tubules of the testis. And coming to stages, first of all, formation of spermatid, where spermatogonia or the sperm mother cell produce spermatids. Second is spermiogenesis, that is the spermatid transform into sperm, that is called spermiogenesis. Remember, important one. Next, here the steps you can see. Spermatogonia or mother cell, and it is diploid, mitotically divide, primary spermatocyte, then meiosis 1 occur, secondary spermatocyte, and here you can see it is also labeled and the diagrams are also here. First spermatogonia, then the divide mitotically divides, produce primary spermatocyte which is also diploid in nature, then meiosis 1 occur, secondary spermatocyte haploid, meiosis 2 occur, spermatid, it is also haploid, then spermiogenesis occur, and then the formation of spermatozoa. Next, a primary spermatocyte goes to two secondary spermatocytes, secondary spermatocyte goes to two spermatids, and thus a primary spermatocyte goes to four spermatid or four sperms are produced. Here you can see in this diagram, there are some interstitial cells, spermatogonium, primary spermatocyte, secondary spermatocyte, early spermatid, and then spermiogenesis occur, late spermatid, and finally the gametes are formed. Again, after spermiogenesis, sperm head are embedded in the Sertoli cells to get nourishment. Remember, after the spermiogenesis, sperm head gets embedded in the Sertoli cells, because we already know what is the function of Sertoli cell, that provide nourishment to the sperm, newly formed sperms. So the sperm head embedded in the Sertoli cells to get nourishment. Then they are released to the lumen of the seminiferous tubule. It is called spermiation. Spermiation. Again, some more points. Role of hormones in the spermatogenesis. How the hormones and what is the role of the hormones in the process of spermatogenesis. First of all, hypothalamus. It secretes GnRH hormone. And the GnRH hormone, full form of GnRH, what is it? Gonadotropin releasing hormone, GnRH. It acts on pituitary. We secrete two gonadotropins, one is LH and FSH. Coming to luteinizing hormone, it acts on Leydig cell, secrete androgen and stimulates spermatogenesis. Coming to FSH, it acts on Sertoli cells and helps in the stimulation of secretion of factors for spermiogenesis. So this is the work of hormones in the spermatogenesis. You all familiar with the GnRH hormone, pituitary, gonadotropin, luteinizing hormone, follicle stimulating hormone in class 11th. Now we are going to know them about something more. So let's start. Coming to structure of spermatozoa or sperm. Here you can see it is a head piece and it is covered by acrosome. Middle piece made up of mitochondria and the end piece, tail portion. A mature sperm is about 60 micrometer, or you can say 0.06 micrometer in length. Sperm is enveloped by plasma membrane. A sperm has three regions: head, middle piece and tail. In head you can see plasma membrane, it is the outer covering. Acrosome is there, nucleus, neck portion which having mitochondria, and finally tail. First of all, head portion. It is oval in shape, formed of nucleus and acrosome. Acrosome is formed from Golgi complex. It contains lytic enzyme, hydrolytic enzyme. It contains hydrolytic enzymes, and behind the head is the neck is present. Coming to middle piece, it is composed of axial filaments surrounded by mitochondria and cytoplasm. Mitochondria produce energy from the sperm motility. Next is tail portion. It consists of central axial filament, tail portion. The sperm moves in fluid medium and female genital tract by the undulating movement of the tail. Next, here you can see the human male ejaculate about 200 to 300 millions of sperms during coitus or intercourse. For a normal fertility, at least 60% sperm must have normal in shape and size, and out of the 60, 40% of them must show vigorous motility. Next is oogenesis. Before starting oogenesis, let's see what your NCERT says here. Primary sex organ, the testis in the male and the ovary in the female produce gametes, that is sperm and ovum respectively, by the process called gametogenesis. In testis, the immature male germ cells, spermatogonia, produce sperm by spermatogenesis that begins at the puberty. The spermatogonia, remember, it begins at the puberty in male body, formation of the sperm or the spermatogenesis process that begins at puberty. The spermatogonia, singular spermatogonium, present on the inside wall of the seminiferous tubule, multiply by mitotic division and increase in number. Spermatogonium. Then each spermatogonium is diploid in nature and contains 46 number of chromosomes. Some spermatogonia are called primary spermatocyte, periodically undergoes meiosis. Primary spermatocyte periodically undergoes meiosis. A primary spermatocyte completes the first meiotic division, that is reductional division, leading to formation of two equal haploid cells called secondary spermatocyte. Haploid cells, then which have only 23 chromosomes each. The secondary spermatocyte undergoes second meiotic division to produce 4 equal haploid spermatids. 4 equal haploid spermatids here. So we can say one primary spermatocyte produces 4 spermatids. It is the diploid, secondary, haploid, and here also haploid. What will be the number of chromosomes in the spermatid? It will be 23. The spermatid are transferred into spermatozoa by the process called spermiogenesis. The spermatid transfer into spermatozoa by the process spermiogenesis. Next, after spermiogenesis, sperm head becomes embedded in the Sertoli cells. Sperm head becomes embedded in the Sertoli cells. As you can see in this diagram, the head embedded in the Sertoli cell to get nourishment, and they are finally released from the seminiferous tubule by the process called spermiation. And when they fully nourished or fully mature, then they leave the Sertoli cells and go to the seminiferous tubules. That is called spermiation. Spermatogenesis starts at the age of puberty due to significant increase in the secretion of gonadotropin releasing hormone GnRH, or also called hypothalamic hormone. And the increased level of GnRH act on the anterior pituitary gland and stimulate the secretion of two gonadotropin hormones, that are LH and FSH. LH act on Leydig cell and stimulate the synthesis and secretion of androgens. Androgens in turn stimulate the process of spermatogenesis, while the FSH act on Sertoli cells and stimulate the secretion from factor, which help in the process of spermiogenesis. Here you can see, coming to the structure of sperm, it is microscopic in structure, composed of head, neck, middle piece and tail. A plasma membrane envelops the whole body of sperm. It is covered by plasma membrane. Next, the spermate contains elongated haploid nucleus, anterior portion which is covered by cap-like structure called acrosome. Cap-like structure, acrosome. Then the acrosome is filled with enzymes that helps in fertilization of the ovum. And what are the enzymes? Hydrolytic enzyme. Hydrolytic enzyme. Next, the middle piece process the numerous mitochondria which produce the energy for the movement of the tail that facilitates sperm motility, essential for fertilization. The human male ejaculate about 200 to 300 millions of sperm during a coitus, of which for normal fertility, at least 60% sperm must have been normal in shape and size, and out of the 60%, 40% of them must show vigorous motility. Next, sperm released from the seminiferous tubule are transported by the accessory duct. Secretion of epididymis, vas deferens, seminal vesicle, prostate gland and are essential for maturation and motility of the sperm. The seminal plasma along with the sperm constitute the semen. The function of male sex accessory duct and glands are maintained by testicular hormones or androgens. And with this, the spermatogenesis is completed. Now coming to oogenesis. Let's see the PDF what it says. Oogenesis. Here you can see it is the formation and maturation of the ovum. It's called oogenesis. It takes place in the Graafian follicle. Next, oogenesis initiated in the embryonic stage when millions of egg, mother cell or oogonia are formed within the ovary. So oogenesis in the female body is initiated in the embryonical development stage when millions of egg, mother cell are formed within the ovary. No more oogonia are formed and added after the birth. Remember, oogonia multiply to form primary oocyte. Then they enter prophase 1 of the meiosis and gets temporarily arrested at this stage. So first of all, oogonia multiply to form primary oocyte. After the formation of primary oocyte, then they enter into prophase 1 stage. Remember, cell division topic, prophase 1 of the meiosis, and then they get temporarily arrested at the stage. And when they activated at the time of puberty, they again activated. Next, each primary oocyte gets surrounded by a layer of granulosa cells to form primary follicle. So each primary oocyte gets surrounded by a layer of granulosa cells to form primary follicle. Many primary follicles degenerate during the phases from birth to the puberty. They are degenerated. Therefore, at puberty, only 60,000 to 80,000 primary follicles are left in the each ovary. 60,000 to 80,000. Now, development of ovarian follicle, primary follicle, secondary follicle, tertiary follicle, Graafian follicle. The primary follicle, where a layer of granulosa cells surrounded a primary oocyte. These are the granulosa cells, as you can see in this diagram. Granulosa cells, they surrounded, and it is called primary follicle. Then secondary follicle, where more layers of granulosa cells and a new theca surrounding a primary oocyte. You can see more granular cells inside and thicker cells outside. It is called secondary follicle, where cortical granules are also there and zona pellucida is also here. Zona pellucida, it is the covering of the primary oocyte. Then tertiary follicle, where the fluid filled cavity, antrum is there. Antrum labeled here, you can see. Fluid filled cavity are present. Develop, the theca layer forms inner theca interna and outer theca externa, and the theca layer divides into theca interna, inner layer, and theca externa. It is the theca interna, this layer, and outer layer is theca externa. It is called tertiary follicle. And finally, Graafian follicle, where you can see theca externa, outer layer, theca interna, antrum. This is the antrum, fluid filled cavity, granulosa cells, corona radiata, these are present. Fully mature follicle is called Graafian follicle. Next, the primary oocyte in tertiary follicle grows and undergoes first unequal meiotic division to form a large haploid secondary oocyte and a tiny first polar body. But it said the primary oocyte in tertiary follicle grow and undergo first unequal meiotic division. Unequal it is given to form a large haploid secondary oocyte and a tiny first polar body. So the secondary oocyte retain the nutrient-rich cytoplasm of the primary oocyte. It is unknown that whether the first polar body divide further or degenerates. It is unknown till. Next, the tertiary follicle further changes into mature follicle or Graafian follicle. Secondary oocyte forms a new membrane, that is zona pellucida, and the Graafian follicle now ruptures to release the secondary oocyte or ovum from the ovary. This is called ovulation. Here are the steps. Oogonia, diploid 46 chromosomes. Mitosis occur at the stage, embryonical stage. Then primary oocyte formed, it is also diploid in nature. Then it arrested at prophase 1, remember, prophase 1 of the meiosis, it is arrested, and then we can say grow in size. Then primary oocyte goes to meiosis 1. Meiosis 1 occur prior to ovulation, and then you can see secondary oocyte is formed, first polar body also formed. The secondary oocyte, it is the first polar body, and meiosis 2 occur during fertilization. Oocyte is formed and secondary polar body is formed. Oocyte and secondary polar body. Next, structure of ovum or egg. Spherical and non-motile. As you can see, spherical and non-motile. Size is about 0.2 micrometer in diameter. Ovum is 3 membrane. First of all, plasma membrane or oolemma. It is the innermost layer, plasma membrane. Zona pellucida, outer to the plasma membrane, zona pellucida is there, and corona radiata, outer layer formed by follicle cell, corona radiata. Nucleus is there, cytoplasm and first polar body. Here is the difference between spermatogenesis and oogenesis. Coming to spermatogenesis, it occurs in testis. Oogenesis occurs in ovary. Here the limited growth phase, elaborative growth phase. Each primary spermatocyte gives 4 sperm and each primary oocyte gives only 1 ovum. No polar body formation in spermatogenesis while the polar body formed in the oogenesis. It begins at puberty and extends up to senility. And oogenesis is the begins at embryonical stage but suspended up to the puberty. It ceases around the age of 50. Before starting the menstrual cycle, let's see what your NCERT says here. Again the points. The process of formation of mature female gametes is called oogenesis. Oogenesis is initiated during the embryonic development stage, when a couple of million gametes, mother cell oogonia, are formed within each fetal ovary. No more oogonia are formed or added after the birth. This cell starts division, enters into prophase 1 of the meiotic division and gets temporarily arrested at the stage called primary oocyte. Each primary oocyte then gets surrounded by layer of granulosa cells. It is called primary follicle. Large number of the follicle degenerate during the phases from the birth to the puberty. Therefore, at puberty, from millions of gametes comes to 60,000 to 80,000 primary follicles are there. The primary follicle gets surrounded by more layers of granulosa cells and new theca is formed are called secondary follicle. The secondary follicle soon transform into tertiary follicle, which is characterized by a fluid filled cavity called antrum. We already seen all this in the diagram of the PDF. The theca layer is organized in the inner theca interna and outer theca externa. Next here you can see first meiotic division. It is an unequal division occur where a large haploid secondary oocyte and a tiny first polar body is formed. Here the question asked you, whose answer is already I told you. Here, bulk of nutrient rich cytoplasm of the primary oocyte. Here the question, does the first polar body born out of the first meiotic division divide further or degenerate? And here the answer. In oogenesis, the oogonium differentiates into oocyte 1 and this cell enters meiosis. After finishing the first meiotic division, the oocyte 1 forms 2 cells, oocyte 2 and the first polar body. The oocyte 2 is bigger because it gets almost all the cytoplasm and the cytoplasmic structure of the oocyte 1 as a strategy for metabolite and nutrient storage. The oocyte 2 cells goes then to the secondary meiotic division. The first polar body is very small and almost lacks cytoplasm. It disintegrates or stay attached to the oocyte second. Next, here is the diagram. You can see primary follicles and then secondary follicle will have built. This one will be secondary follicle. Okay. Then tertiary follicle showing antrum. The fluid filled cavity antrum. Then fully mature follicle is Graafian follicle. You can see the secondary oocyte formed a new membrane called zona pellucida surrounding it. Next, here is the diagram. You can see it occurs at puberty. Mitosis, differentiation, primary spermatocyte is formed. First meiotic division, secondary spermatocyte, second meiotic division, spermatid. Then differentiated into spermatozoa. And here the chromosomal number also given: diploid, haploid and haploid. Here oogonia, mitosis differentiation, primary oocyte during fetal life. Then first meiotic division completed to prior to ovulation. Here the birth occur, childhood and puberty, and at puberty secondary oocyte is formed and first polar body is there. And then ovum, secondary polar body. It's the adult reproductive life stage. Menstrual cycle. Let's see the PDF. What it says. Here you can see it is a cyclic event starting from the one menstruation till the next during reproductive period, puberty to menopause of a woman's life. So, it is a cyclic event starting from one menstruation, that is the first menstruation, that is called menarche to last one, that is the menopause of the woman's life. Duration of menstrual cycle is 28 or 29 days. Duration will be. Next, menstrual cycle also seen in the other primates like monkeys. Next, events of menstrual cycle. There are mainly two events: ovarian cycle, where the changes in ovary, and uterine cycle, changes in uterus, oviduct and vagina. First of all, coming to phases of menstrual cycle, reproductive cycle. First menstrual phase 1 to 5th day, 1 to 5th or 7 also. Coming to follicular or proliferate phase 5 to 13 days, 5 to 13 days follicular phase. Then ovulation occur on 14th day, and then secretory or luteal phase 15 to 28th day. Here, first of all, 1 to 5th day. The cycle starts with the menstrual flow or bleeding. It lasts for 3 to 5 days, or in some points it is given 5 to 7 days. Okay. And what happened in this time? The endometrium ruptured and the blood comes through cervix and vagina. Next, menstruation occurs if the released ovum is not fertilized. Menstruation occurs if the released ovum is not fertilized. If it is fertilized, then menstruation stops. It results in the breakdown of the endometrial lining, uterine blood vessels that comes out through the vagina. Next, lack of menstruation indicates the pregnancy. It may also be causes due to stress, poor health, etc. Second is follicular or proliferative phase. It starts from 5th to 13th day. It starts from 5th day after the menstruation and completed in the 8 to 12 days. In this phase, action of the gonadotropin, FSH and LH from the pituitary occur, where the new endometrium formed. Next, FSH stimulates the development of primary follicle into Graafian follicle, secretion of estrogen by Graafian follicles. Next, estrogen stimulates proliferation of ruptured uterine endometrium and mucous lining of the oviduct and vagina. Development of secondary sexual characters, suppression of FSH secretion and secretion of LH or luteinizing hormone. These all occur during the follicular phases. Next, on 14th day, LH and FSH attain at peak level in the middle of the cycle, and rapid secretion of LH or LH surge, also called, induces rupture of Graafian follicle and thereby ovulation occur at the 14th day. Here you can see rupture of Graafian follicle and ovulation occur. LH and FSH attain at peak level in the middle of the cycle. Oh, again the points are given. Here you can see ovulation occur and the Graafian follicle rupture and the egg comes to the, these are the fimbriae, finger-like structures, fimbriae and fallopian tube, infundibulum, ampulla, isthmus. Next, after ovulation, the Graafian follicle is transferred into a yellow endocrine mass of cell called corpus luteum. Corpus luteum. The mature or Graafian follicle, when the egg comes out, ovum comes out, then the remaining portion is called corpus luteum, and it secretes the progesterone hormone. This corpus luteum secretes the hormone progesterone, and the function of progesterone is to it makes the endometrium maximum vascular. It makes the endometrium maximum vascular. This is the thickness of endometrium, as you can see. Thick and soft. Thus the uterus gets ready for implantation. Implantation means if the male gamete or the male sperm goes inside the female genital tract, then they fuses with the egg and then fertilization occur and the zygote fuses in this thick endometrium. That is called implantation. Inhibit the FSH secretion to prevent development of the second ovarian follicle. Next, if the fertilization does not occur, corpus luteum degenerates. If the fertilization does not occur, the corpus luteum degenerates like this, degenerating corpus luteum. It causes disintegration of the endometrium. It leads to next menstruation and new cycle. And the endometrium disintegrates and it leads to next menstrual cycle or new cycle begins. Next is luteal phase. Here what happened? Sorry, the same points are given and the next menstrual cycle means bleeding again occur. During pregnancy, all the events of menstrual cycle stops and there is no menstruation. Next, overall changes. What happened? In this point, this is the diagram of your NCERT. Change in the pituitary hormones, FSH and LH levels, change in the ovarian events, change in the ovarian hormone, estrogen, progesterone levels, and here the change in the uterine events. Next, here menarche. It is the first menstruation during puberty. Menarche is called, which occur at 11 to 12 years. And menopause, it is the stopping of menstrual cycle at about 50 years of age. Menstruation occur from 12 to 50 years of age. Then menopause occur from 50 years to till death. Fertilization and implantation. Before starting it, let's see what your NCERT says. Here again, menstrual cycle, menarche also given 28 to 29 days menstrual cycle. Here the diagram you can see. Pituitary hormone level, ovarian events, ovarian hormone level, uterine events. Here the same points are given what I told you just right now from the PDF. The same points are given. I already underlined it. Question asked you what is LH surge? That is the rapid secretion of LH leading to the maximum level during the mid-cycle. That is called LH surge, which induces the rupture of Graafian follicle and the ovulation. Here menstrual hygiene is also given. Maintenance of the hygiene, sanitation during menstruation is very important. Take bath and clean yourself regularly. Using sanitary napkins or clean homemade pads. Change sanitary napkins or homemade pads after every 4 to 5 hours as per the requirement. Dispose the used sanitary napkin properly, wrapping it within a used paper. Do not throw the used napkin in the drain pipe or toilet or in the open area. After handling the napkin, wash hands with soap. It is the menstrual hygiene for the females. Next, fertilization. Let's see the PDF what it says here. During copulation, semen is released by the penis into the vagina. It is called insemination. And here is the diagram given. You can see fusion of sperm with ovum is called fertilization. It occurs in ampullary region of the fallopian tube. It occurs in the ampullary region of the fallopian tube. Sperm goes inside the vagina, cervical canal. This is the uterus. This portion uterus, isthmus, ampullary region, and then in the ampullary region where the ovum comes from ovary through fimbriae, infundibulum, both mated with this region, ampullary region. Then fertilization occurs. Here it is said, it happens only if the ovum and sperm are transported simultaneously. Remember, So all copulation do not lead to fertilization and pregnancy. A sperm contact with zona pellucida, it induces changes in the membrane that block the entry of additional sperm. The secretion of the acrosome helps the sperm to enter the egg cytoplasm via zona pellucida and the plasma membrane. This causes second meiotic division of the secondary oocyte to form a ovum or ootid and the second polar body. Here you can see this diagram. Spermate coming, sperm, then protein receptor. Here the acrosomal process occur, hydrolytic enzymes here, and here you can see egg cytoplasm. So what it said, this causes the second meiotic division occur of the secondary oocyte to form an ovum and second polar body. The haploid nucleus of the sperm and ovum fuse together to form diploid zygote. Then zygote undergoes meiotic division, that is also called cleavage, starts as it moves through the isthmus towards the uterus and forms 2, 4, 8, 6 daughter cells called blastomeres. Here zygote, 2 cell stage, 4 cell stage, 8, 16. These all are called blastomeres. The embryo with 8 to 16 blastomeres are called morula. Here the diagram of morula you can see. Morula continues to divide and transform into a blastocyst. Next one, here you can see, in blastocysts the blastomeres are arranged into an outer layer, that is trophoblast, and inner cell mass attached to the trophoblast. Here what happened, in blastocysts the blastomeres are arranged in an outer layer. It's called trophoblast. Inner cell mass attached to the trophoblast. The trophoblast layer gives nourishment to the inner cell mass. Also it gets attached to the endometrium. The inner cell mass gets differentiated into 3 germ layer: outer ectoderm, middle mesoderm, and inner endoderm. The 3-layered structure gastrula forms the embryo. Here you can see ectoderm, endoderm. Okay. Next, after attachment, uterine cells divides rapidly and cover the blastocyst. As a result, the blastocyst become embedded in the endometrium. This is called implantation. As you can see in this diagram, this is called implantation. Then again, the diagram is there at a glance, where you can see from here ovulation occur. It is the ovary, mature follicle, Graafian follicle, ovulation occur, and secondary oocyte, fertilization occur at ampulla region, fertilization occur. There are sperm cells, and there is the nucleus, sperm nucleus and egg nucleus. Then zygote is formed. Then it travels to 2 cell stage, 4 cell stage, 8 cell stage, that is called cleavage. Then morula, then blastocyst, then implanted blastocyst, like this. Final topic, pregnancy and embryonic development. Let's see what your NCERT says. Same points as I told you. During copulation or coitus, semen is released by the penis into the vagina, that is called insemination, and the sperm swims rapidly, pass through the cervix, enter into uterus, and finally reaches to the ampullary region of the fallopian tube. The ovum released by the ovary is also transported by the ampullary region where fertilization takes place. Fertilization can only occur if the ovum and sperm are transported simultaneously to the ampullary region. The process of fusion of sperm within an ovum is called fertilization, and during fertilization a sperm comes in contact with the zona pellucida layer of the ovum. Zona pellucida, see the diagram, and induces changes in the membrane that blocks the entry of additional sperm. Thus it ensures that only one sperm can be fertilized, an ovum. The secretion of the acrosome helps in the sperm enter into the cytoplasm of the ovum through the zona pellucida and the plasma membrane. And then the completion of the meiotic division of the secondary oocyte, and the secondary meiotic division is also unequal, which result the formation of second polar body and a haploid ovum, that is called ooted. And soon the haploid nucleus of the sperm and that of the ovum fuse together to form a diploid zygote. And how many chromosomes will be there in the zygote? Obviously 46 chromosomes are there because it is a diploid one. And here the sex determination, as you can say, we are already familiar with in class 10, the human female having double X chromosome while the male having one X and one Y chromosome. Therefore, all the haploid gametes or ova produced by the female have sex chromosome X, where the male gametes sperm have could be either X and Y. Hence, 50% sperm carry X chromosomes while the other 50 carry Y chromosome. And after the fusion of the male and female gametes, the zygote would carry either XS and XY chromosome, depending on whether the sperm carrying X and Y fertilized the ovum. The zygote carrying XS would develop into a female baby and XY would develop into a male one. That is why scientifically it is correct to say that sex of the baby is determined by the father, not by the mother. The mitodivision starts at the zygote, moves through the isthmus of the oviduct called cleavage towards the uterus and forms 2, 4, 8, 16 daughter cells called blastomeres. The embryo with 8 to 16 blastomeres are called morula. The morula continues to divide and transform into blastocyst. And then blastomere in the blastocyst are arranged into an outer layer called trophoblast, an inner group of cells called inner mass cell. And the inner mass cell differentiated as an embryo, and after attachment the uterine cells divide rapidly and cover the blastocyst. As a result, the blastocyst becomes embedded in the endometrium of the uterus. This is called implantation, which leads to pregnancy. Here also the last topic. Let's see the PDF what it says. Pregnancy and embryonic development. After implantation, finger-like projections or chorionic villi appear on the trophoblast. As you can see, after implantation, finger-like projections like this. It is called chorionic villi appear on the trophoblast. They are surrounded by uterine tissue and maternal blood. Again, the chorionic villi and uterine tissue are interdigitate to form placenta. Interdigitate to form placenta. Okay. Placenta is a structural and functional unit between the embryo and the maternal body. Next, placenta is connected to the embryo by an umbilical cord. Here you can see umbilical cord, where it transports substances to and from the embryo. Umbilical cord like this. Function of the placenta. Act as a barrier between the fetus and the mother. Supply oxygen, nutrients from the mother to the fetus through the umbilical cord. Removal of CO2 and excretory waste from the fetus. Act as the endocrine gland. It secretes human chorionic gonadotropin HCG, human placental lactogen HPL, estrogen, progesterone and relaxin. Relaxin also secreted by ovary. Next, you can see during pregnancy, estrogen, progesterone, cortisol, prolactin, thyroxine, etc. are also increased in the maternal blood. They support the fetal growth, metabolic changes in the mother and maintain pregnancy. Next, the germ layer gives rise to all tissue or organs. We already know 3 germ layers are there: endoderm, ectoderm and mesoderm. The stem cells in the inner cell mass have the potency to give rise to all the tissue and organs. Here, human pregnancy or gestation period lasts about 9 months. For cats, it is 2 months. For dogs, it is 2 months. And for elephants, it is 21 months. Coming to changes in the embryo during pregnancy, that are after 1 month, heart is formed. End of 2nd month, limbs and digits are developed. End of 12 week or first trimester, Major organs like limbs, external genital organs are well developed. During the 5th month, fast movement of fetus and appearance of hair on the head, and the end of 24 week, second trimester, body is covered with the fine hair, eyelids separate and eyelashes are formed. End of 9 month, it is ready for delivery. That is called parturition. Coming to last topic, parturition and lactation. Here you can see parturition or labor. Process of giving birth to the younger one is called parturition. It is induced by neuroendocrine mechanism. The signal from the fetus and placenta induce mild uterine contraction. That is called fetal ejection reflex. This causes the release of oxytocin from the maternal pituitary. Oxytocin causes stronger uterine muscle contraction, which in turn stimulates the further secretion of oxytocin. This process is continued, leading to expulsion of the baby out of the uterus through the birth canal. Then, after parturition or the delivery of the baby, the umbilical cord is cut off. The placenta and remnant of umbilical cord are expelled from the maternal body after the parturition. It is called afterbirth. Here, the mammary gland produces milk towards the end of the pregnancy. It is called lactation. The yellowish milk produced during the initial few days of the lactation is called colostrum. It contains several antibodies essential for development and resistance for the newborn babies. And with this, the PDF topic is completed. Now let's see what your NCERT says. Here again the chorionic villi about given, as you can see in this diagram. Placental villi or chorionic villi are also here. Next, the chorionic villi and uterine tissue are interdigited with each other and jointly form structural functional unit between the developing embryo or fetus and maternal body called placenta. The placenta facilitates supply of oxygen and nutrients of the embryo and removal of CO2 and exudate waste material produced by the embryo through umbilical cord. It also acts as endocrine tissue because it produces several hormones that are HCG, human chorionic gonadotropin, HPL, human placental lactogen, estrogen, progesterone, etc. And later also relaxin also produced by ovary. So during pregnancy, the level of hormones like estrogen, progesterone, cortisol, prolactin, thyroxine are increased in the maternal blood. Next, immediately after implantation, the inner cell mass differentiates into outer layer called ectoderm, inner layer called endoderm and mesoderm. And these three layers give rise to all tissue and organs in an adult because they have stem cells. Here is the question, human pregnancy lasts for 9 months. Do you know how many months pregnancy lasts for in dog, elephants and cats? Here it is given. The gestation period for different mammals is dogs for 58 to 68 days, elephants for 18 to 22 months, that is 617 days for Asian elephants, and cats having 58 to 67 days. After 1 month of pregnancy, the embryo heart is formed, which is the first sign of growing fetus. And by the end of 2nd month, the fetus develops limbs and digits. Then, by the end of 12 week or first trimester or the first 3 months are completed, most of the major organ systems are formed. The first moment of fetus appearance of hair on the head are usually observed during the 5th month. By the end of about 24 week or the 2nd trimester, the body is covered with fine hair, eyelids are separated, eyelashes are formed, and by the end of the 9th month of pregnancy, the fetus is fully developed and ready for delivery. Coming to parturition and lactation, here the average duration of human pregnancy is about 9 months, which is called gestation period, and vigorous contraction of the uterus and end of pregnancy causes expulsion and delivery of the fetus. This process is called parturition. It is a complex neuroendocrine mechanism because the signal for the parturition originates from the fully developed fetus as well as the placenta, which induces the mild uterine contraction, that is called fetal ejection reflex. This trigger release of oxytocin formed from the maternal pituitary. Oxytocin acts on the uterine muscle and causes stronger uterine contraction, which in the turn stimulate further secretion by oxytocin. The stimulation reflex between the uterine contraction and oxytocin secrete the continuous, resulting the stronger and stronger contractions. This leads to the expulsion of the delivery of the baby through the birth canal, that is called parturition. Soon after the infant deliver, the placenta is also expelled out of the uterus. And here it is given what do you think the doctor inject to induce delivery? That is oxytocin. Next, last point, the mammary gland of the female undergo differentiation during pregnancy and starts producing milk towards the end of pregnancy by the process called lactation. This helps the mother in feeding the newborn. The milk is produced during the initial few days of lactation is called colostrum, which contains several antibodies absolutely essential for development resistance for the newborn babies. And breastfeeding during the initial period of infant growth is recommended by the doctors for bringing up a healthy baby. And with this, as you can see, the topic is completed. So, thank you all for watching this video, and please give a like. Do not forget to comment, and new viewers, do subscribe my channel for further chapters. Thank you. Jai Jagannath.